Hello guys and welcome, it is ThatSrb2DUDE. Now what you guys are going to watch is basically a concrete example of why weapons like the Splattershot Pro need main power up and is basically a necessity to have it for this weapon. What basically main power up does for the Splattershot Pro is increase the damage, and there are a couple other weapons in this game that also have this sort of feature when applying main power up onto the weapon. Now I'm going to have a full conclusion of why you use it in general and why basically every single person, if you're using the Splattershot Pro or maybe 96 cal, would have to consider running a certain amount of main power up to make it perform at its best. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video.
Like a 96 cal probably only needs like 2 mains minimum. Like a minimum enough to get it over 70 damage. So that's like around 2 mains or 1 main 2 subs, I think. Let's actually try it, because I'm interested. Like, you wanted to get it at least over 70, but like, I kind of might want to get it over just a little bit over 70, just to counter people who have bomb defense, or the 1 sub of bomb defense. That was 2 hit anyway. Yeah, I know, but it's for the fall off damage and to counter bomb defense. So yeah, I'd say one main 3 subs is enough, but I'd say it's good to have a little bit more, just to, because like, I mean, look, you can go into that situation right there where I shot just slightly higher, and it's doing 66 something, you know, but direct hit is 70. So like, you could have situations like that where you hit for, you know, a little less, even 59 right there. If you're slightly shooting upwards, the damage is gonna like be different. First of all, with the Splattershot Pro, you have so much, because the same thing actually happens. Like, let me even show you. This is exactly why people use it. But the thing is with the Splattershot Pro, since the bullet is pretty fast, like, it's probably less likely to get fall off, but like, say if you're shooting this high, you're gonna have fall off damage, and that's at 42.1, which is, that's the Splattershot Pro's damage if you didn't have any main power up at all. So like, you know, if you're shooting this high, you're at least gonna do a perfect 3 shot. But if you're, if you have no main power up, that probably would be a 4-shot kill, actually. But, you know, with this weapon, it's very easy to get for the directs anyway, so... I mean, I can actually try the same thing without main power up, just to show you guys why it's so important for a Splattershot Pro to have it these days. Like, I feel like if they were to buff this weapon, they should just make the fall-off in general much stronger than what it does produce, because, I mean, look at this. 38.1, I kind of shot pretty direct there, but if I was to do that, that's definitely a 4-shot kill, you know? That can vary in damage a lot. That's a 4-shot kill right there. If I'm shooting this high, and you know, it's not so much different if I'm shooting directly. I mean, well, I'm shooting somewhat directly, but 34, I mean, look at that. Because the damage is falling off at the very end of its shot, that's how much damage it's gonna do. You know? So, put your main power up on, because it removes that factor of it. If you're gonna buff the fall off, you'll need to nerf the 99 damage on the Pro. Yeah, that's what I say. Like, I feel like they should just completely remove the possibility, like, of getting 99 damage, because this 2-shot nonsense is ridiculous. But if they just improve fall-off damage in general, where like if I'm shooting higher, my the damage that falls off doesn't like deplete so low that it, you know, it can make my Splattershot Pro sometimes 4-shot the majority of the time.
Okay, so after watching that, you probably now have a better understanding for why you should be running main power up for your Splattershot Pro or your 96 cal. We're gonna kind of stick to those 2 weapons mainly, but of course there's some other weapons like maybe like Ballpoint or the Squeezer, etc. So when looking at it, for the Splattershot Pro, it is a necessity to have at least 3 mains and 3 subs of main power up just to get your damage up to 49.9 damage. Now, what this is going to allow you to do is that if anybody, the enemy team, touches ink, you basically get a 2-shot on them directly. Of course, you could probably opt into running a little less, but the thing that's going to happen is that the chances of your direct 2-hit shot kills are going to take a little longer than usual. Mainly because if an enemy touches ink, they're going to instantly take 0.1 or 2 damage, opposed to taking 1 full hit point of damage. which in this case, it might make your Splattershot Pro just perform a 3-shot kill, even though that you have 3 mains and 2 subs of main power-up. Another thing for why main power-up is so useful for the Splattershot Pro is generally because of the fall-off, as you saw in examples. When running no main power-up on the Splattershot Pro, you basically have loads of potential to 3-shot, and your overall 3-shotting potential of just, you know, playing around with main power-up is so highly consistent when you do shoot a little bit higher when using this weapon. Almost a thing where you can kind of guarantee that you are hitting 3 shots. But of course, when not wearing anything of this perk, you have that potential for even putting even more shots into a player. So basically, to conclude on the Splattershot Pro, just increases the overall consistency and also makes it somewhat of a broken weapon, as it's a super accurate weapon that can allow a 2-shot if an enemy teammate touches your rank at the same time. And another thing to add is that when you do shoot a player directly, you can run into situations where your opponent gets suppressed by that first shot, stays inside your ink for like half a second or something, and then that will allow you just to shoot another shot into that person, which will basically allow for another 2-shot. Going on to the 96 scale for why you'd want to run main power up on this weapon, and sometimes, you know, a certain amount might be a little bit better. Now, the minimum amount of main power up you should run with this weapon is 1 main and 3 subs. The goal for the 96 scale is to make sure that it does above 70 damage or at 70 damage. Now, of course, you already know that damage fall off is a thing and you've already seen it. So, of course, this is probably one of the things that you would want to run main power up for the 96. But some people may still complain, why would you do this? I mean, the weapon already 2 shots already. Well, the thing is that you have to think about how bombs work in this game. The majority of bombs, will actually no, every single bomb does over 30 damage. So basically what I'm trying to say is that if any of your fellow teammates, I guess, throw a burst bomb or suction bomb, whatever type of bomb, and your opponent gets splashed by it, they will always be inflicted with 30 damage or more. Which then, of course, running the same amount of main power up I recommended to you guys, that will allow your 96 Scout to one-shot that opponent. Now, of course, there's the case of if an opponent is wearing a certain amount of bomb defense. Now, a lot of people in common run just 1 sub of bomb defense just to counter things like this. People don't normally run like 1 main or 2 mains of bomb defense, so you're not going to be having to worry about putting so much main power up on, but in my opinion, just because of this, just to counter the small amount of bomb defense that people might run, I would say you would want to put 2 mains and 2 subs of main power up just to be able to counter this. This way your 96 guy will always be able to one-shot those opponents who are inflicted with splashdown bombs or whatever that inflicts 30 damage minimum to any of those targets. So that's basically the importance for why, I guess, for range weapons like the 96 cal, like the Splattershot Pro, like the Squeezer, should be running a certain amount of main power up to be able to counter stuff like this. Your main 2, of course, are going to be those 2 weapons as I mentioned, and hopefully now you guys can see why it's such a necessity to have this perk on these weapons, because it basically just pushes the weapon to its full potential and just makes it so much easier to play in general. With that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and hope you enjoyed my explanation for all these things. So thank you very much everyone for watching. Please, if you did, please like, favorite, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch, both in the description below. Do it for both of you free and generous. Make sure to hit the bell notification button next to the subscription button to let you guys know whenever I'm streaming and whenever I do upload a video. And also consider joining my public Discord server where you can go ahead and talk to myself and my Dude Society community. Follow all the other socials that are also in the description below. I shall see you guys later. Thank you very much everyone for watching, and I shall see you guys in a future video.